Good morning. I hope everyone's enjoying their Saturday morning so far. So I am working on a live edge floating shelf project. So as you can see, I'm using my circular saw and just cutting my slab in half. And I kind of just wanted to go over the process. This video is a little bit long. Using the draw knife to take off the bark. And I do struggle a little bit. I don't get all of it off the first try. And it's something that you just keep working at. After I ended up removing some of the bark, I did bring the shelves over to the table saw and I was able to remove a few inches off the edge just so it wouldn't be the live edge portion, but the other edge. And I really just wanted to kind of clean up and make sure that the edge was going to be nice and straight and square, and also wanted to make sure that it would fit through the planer. 13 inches only goes into this planer. So wanted to make sure it was between the 12 and 13 inches. These shelves are going to be 12 inches, so in depth. So I definitely wanted to, at least get it down to the 13 inches and make sure that it wouldn't have any issues with the live edge portion getting through. And I bring the shelf back over to my vice grip, and I again am working with the draw knife to see if I can get off any more of the bark that is on there before I start sanding. Like I said, it's really not a fast process. It's a lot of putting time into trying to remove it and trying to be careful. You don't want to dig in too much into the live edge portion. You want to try to keep its natural shape as much as possible. From here, I start going into the lower grits for sanding paper. I start with my 80 grit and I kind of work my way up. I go to about 220. I'm not going to kind of record a whole lot of me going through that process. It's just kind of the same thing that you're seeing right now. After I finish sanding, I then do a markup. I need to decide where I'm going to center the holes where I'm going to have the hardware go into the shelves. So I want to make sure the holes are going to be nice and center. So I do have this special jig that's helping me align things. I've already marked out where I need to drill, and I've placed this jig and just have to attach my drill there. And I don't go down too far, but just enough that it's going to allow me to drill down nice and straight with my other drill bit that's a bit wider. So that's kind of just a pilot hole basically to kind of keep me in line. Now that the pilot holes are drilled, I can attach the longer drill bit to the drill gun and start drilling those holes. Sometimes it ended up going down nice and easy. Sometimes it ended up being a little bit tougher. So I did end up struggling a little bit with this one, but just needed to put a little bit extra force into it, and it eventually ended up going down for me. Here I place the hardware into those holes, and I am just kind of tracing around the outside. And that's where I'm going to end up going in with my chisel and mallet and start carving into that rectangular shape so that that hardware will actually sit into where this mortise is, so that it will be flush to the wall. And the hardware's not going to be, sticking out, and then the shelf will be away from the wall, if that makes sense. I know that some people that are not woodworkers don't always understand these things, and I've had a few people kind of ask more in-depth questions. So I'm hoping that I'm explaining this a little bit easier, that someone that isn't as knowledgeable might understand. And I'm using this tiny hand plane just to make things level after I've used the chisel and the mallet on the inside there of that mortise. Just nice. It evens everything out, and it also kind of lets me get into those corners nice and easy. More so the edges, kind of gives it a little bit of a cleaner rectangular shape. And you kind of saw me twisting the knob on the end, and I kind of take off a little bit at each time. I don't want to remove too much all at once because then it will kind of take chunks out and then things can be uneven on the inside there. So just a little bit at a time is always better. So after I finished all of the mortising, I ended up running the shelves through the drum sander and prepped them for the stain. And I stained them and then I finished them. And I know that I didn't include that here in the video. I did think that the video was long enough, so I didn't want to include that, especially where I have included me staining things before in previous videos. Here is the outcome of those live edge floating shelves, and just wanted to take a moment to thank you again for stopping by and watching this video. Take care.